roughly about 25,000 peer-reviewed periodicals are published. And they publish roughly about 2.5 million articles a year. How we are going to include all of that? The one nation, one subscription policy, which is not as easy as this tagline looks like. Essentially, this idea is built on a kind of one-side love. This is what we like, some kind of people like. So we have to propose it and the other party should accept it.
So there are all of these ideas about how the Indian academic and the Indian research community can go ahead with open access as a publishing option, right? So in the middle of this, where and how does one nation, one subscription as an idea fit in?
These ideas have been there for about 2 decades now. We could have achieved a lot, but that has not been happening here. So the immediate open access for 100% of papers published in all journals published around the world will take long time. So immediately our government thinks that, but let it happen on the one side. But today, let's make sure access to a good number of journals to all possible would-be, no, they are not considering about would-be users. They say any citizen of India will get access to this information, which includes people who don't have access to it, and big corporates. Even if the corporates are Indian citizen or Indian companies, or they are part of Indian citizenry system, I think they will also be able to access these journals. This is what on the face of it, I'm able to understand through this policy.
There's a pro and con to that idea, right? In the sense that the first pro, that I can see off the face of it is that sure, it's going to make a lot of knowledge more accessible. But the biggest issue or hurdle that I see is that, like, one is you have to obviously significantly talk and bargain with publishers to bring down the cost of subscriptions, right? And publishers have traditionally been kind of saying, no, we're not going to do it by a huge extent. So, how does that argument or idea fit in there from your conversations in this circle?
As you say, I think this idea is built on a kind of one-side love. This is what we like, some kind of people like. So we have to propose it and the other party should accept it, and then it has to happen. Now, the second question is about the capacity to negotiate with them. So what are the data that you have already is an important dimension that one has to look at when you discuss about the one nation, one subscription policy, which is not as easy as this tagline looks like. So it's not that way. I think how every citizen will be defined in India. I think people go out of this country and come back to this country, and our people, our Indian citizens, stay in other countries, and publishers should converge from this divergence of, because now they are dealing with some dozens of consortiums and individual organizations. Some companies may feel that it would reduce their operating costs, and then it may be a good idea in an expansionist point of view. But we have to remember it is not just 4 publishers, though they are dominant. Roughly about 25,000 peer-reviewed periodicals are published, and they publish roughly about 2.5 million articles a year. How we are going to include all of that? Most importantly, the negotiation. So we are already taking subscription through various consortiums in our country. At least some institutions that they can fund reasonably well on these resources have got access to lots of journals. So if you take some of them, for example, if you consider IITs, ISERs, Indian Institute of Science, and some universities, famous universities include, I think they have reasonable access. Actually, how are they used at present? Are our scientists use enough of those resources? The number of articles that we give them to access, we provide access to, and how many of them are actually used? There are many articles which say, I think they are not used as much as one would expect in general. When that is the case, the argument for access to esoteric research, I think, which is very, so I'm not able to read a kind of organometallic chemistry paper which is published in Journal of American Chemical Society of Science. I think probably in this life I will not be able to understand that paper, so I will not, I'm sure that I will not be able to read that paper. So why that importance is given, and then one nation, one subscription, and what kind of wherewithals and tools and data that we have that we can go strongly with the publishers and negotiate and reduce the cost of the price as much as we use. So that is one question, because that area is largely opaque, because these discussions are not available in public domain. Some results, some data, some progress, nothing is being communicated. Probably it will take some time. I think it's not an easy idea, as I said.